Yo everyone, welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Special episode today. We're going to be reviewing the return of the Serie A with a special guest. Some of you may have heard of him, the man of many languages, Mr. Richard Kharman. What's up, Richard?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Introduce yourself to the audience if they're not familiar with who you are.
Okay, yeah. Richard Kharman with Serie A Sitdown. It's obviously a Serie A podcast. It's on all anywhere you pretty much stream audio, stream music, and also we're also on YouTube as well. We do live podcasts now, so definitely there. And then I'm also on a Shock America podcast, co-founded that. So got those two podcasts going on right now, and I talk a lot of football, and it's fun. It keeps time going, and do the YouTube videos just like you. So it's a lot of fun. So you can obviously find me on Twitter at R_KHARMAN. And if you want to follow those podcasts as well, at Serie A Sitdown on Twitter, and also at Shock America on Twitter as well. So
lovely stuff. Yeah, as you said, you kind of cover Bundesliga as well because you're a Schalke fan also.
Yes.
What's your kind of take on, so when Bundesliga came back, it was the first league that came back.
Right.
And I felt a little bit disappointed with like how the teams play, obviously, because they had no proper preseason. Like I think they rushed it a little bit. It just felt like, teams weren't at the same level as they were before, and they were kind of, when Bayern and Dortmund were playing them, we were kind of almost being brushed aside. What did you make of like the Serie A compared to the Bundesliga return?
Yeah, it's a very good point. I think obviously the Bundesliga did things a lot better than Serie A did, obviously, and then I got you kind of on the Schalke bandwagon, much to your dismay, I think, more than anything, unfortunately, right? But yeah, it seems like at least in the Bundesliga, the clubs, they were prepared for the start, and obviously Dortmund and Bayern and other teams like that, they continued on playing pretty well, even though it looked like a practice nonetheless, with no fans in the crowds. They look pretty good in Serie A, though. It seems like most of the clubs, it started out very slowly. I remember watching the game with my wife, and she's like, is this a practice or is this a game? Very slow pace. Even watching Atalanta, who was very entertaining, at times they look like they're going very slow and the fitness isn't there.
Yeah.
If for really this thing to work, almost flawlessly, every league would have need for maybe like a month of training before they got into the games. Unfortunately, that's not how it worked. But hey, it's Calcio's back, soccer's back, football back, whatever you want to call it. I'm just happy that it's here so we can watch it.
No, yeah, I agree there. And your other team, unfortunately, is AC Milan.
I think you meant fortunately. No, that's kidding. Actually, as of late, unfortunately, for sure.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on the way Milan came back from the break? Like, this you've been in pretty decent form, haven't you?
Yeah, it's funny. Most of the teams in most of the leagues, the form that they went into the break and coming out were basically the same, except for Milan. Milan is one of the few teams that is actually better coming out of the break. I thought going into the break, they're playing very poor, not scoring many goals at all. They came out of the break against Lecce, scored 4 goals off the top. They played really well against Juve in the semifinals of the Coppa Italia. Shut them out there. And then obviously with the win this weekend, so they came out really well. And with no Zlatan Ibrahimovic, no one would have thought that would have happened. But I think the big difference for Milan, not only offensively, is Rebic coming around the corner finally. I've been preaching his name since he joined them, and it took him several months to get to where we thought he was going to be. But also the partnership of Romagnoli with Kjaer. Kjaer has been a massive addition for Milan's defense. It's very underrated. He's an okay player, but he's exactly what Romagnoli needs to actually not focus only on his game and not necessarily the whole thing and the whole captaincy thing. So,
yeah, Kjaer has surprised me. You've got option to buy on him, right?
Yeah, I think so. And hopefully they take him up on that because Romagnoli has never looked better.
Yeah, no, that partnership is working really well, and the way the pings he does with the ball at his feet, he's got some really good long balls.
Yeah,
especially against Roma, so many of those were very, very good. What did you make of the performance against Roma?
I thought it was going to be, I was talking to some Romanisti before the match, and I said, based on Milan's current form, I expect them to win. But you never know with Milan. You never know if, with Kjaer being out injured or not. And luckily he did play. I knew it was going to be tight. Both teams match up very equally. The way that they've been playing all season long, the talent on both teams. But Milan did just enough in this one, and with the goal with Rebic, and then obviously this again the second one at the end, it was massive for them. It was always going to be a tight game. They're pretty close in the standings too, so it's very much expected, and a good win. Good win. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and you touched on Rebic before. Yeah, he's coming really good recently. I think he's got like 8 goals in the last 9 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So is he someone that you'd like? Because in my mind, he wasn't, a striker per se. Like a lone striker. From what I've seen at Eintracht, he was mainly like behind a striker or even like a winger most of the time. So do you see him going forward as your main number 9, or would you like to get someone else in that role?
Yeah, no, I don't think a 9 is where it fits him the best. Obviously with Eintracht and as well with Croatia, he played well playing on the left wing or playing just behind the strikers like you mentioned, and he did really well with both Eintracht and Croatia, and so he's had to adapt with Pioli, and for a good part of the season, especially at the end when he started getting hot, he was playing behind Ibra, which helped a lot. But now that he's had to take the reins a little bit here, he's taking advantage of it. I think he's just getting in the right place at the right time, and he was always creating opportunities at the beginning with Milan. They're just now going in. So I think it's part of that, keep on with the hard work and eventually it'll pay off. And I think it's happened with Rebic, and really the team's success is mostly because of him as of late. Those 2 wins, like I said, coming off the break was great to have, and they need to keep the wins going if they want to get into Europe and or catch Napoli. So.
Yeah, and what about Stefano Pioli? What do you make of him? Would you, all these rumors about Ralf Rangnick? Obviously, I'm sure you know a lot about him. Is he the guy to, take over from Pioli, or would you give Pioli the confidence going forward to next season?
I heard, I think on the telecast, at least here in the United States, they said the way the form that Milan is right now, and especially if they go into Europe, it'd be silly to go away from Pioli just because he's done so well. But it's not. It'd be a typical Milan thing to do, right? Gattuso got them 1 point away from Champions League last year, and then they got rid of him. So I think Pioli came in and did what he was expected to do: right the ship. The ship was very chaotic. He leveled them off, and now he's got them playing well. It's going to be hard because Rangnick has a certain way of how he envisions the team. He wants to build from the youth as well. I mean, to me, I think the proper way it should be done is definitely bring Rangnick in as, one of the backroom staff guys and have a conversation with Pioli. And if he thinks Pioli fits, then keep him. And if he doesn't think, get rid of him. I don't think, bringing him in as manager right away, Rangnick, is the way to go. But, a lot of these guys who are quote unquote the, manager guys who can turn teams around, they want full control. We've seen it with Felix Magath in the past, and he's another one here with Rangnick. So maybe the only way you can get him in is if you got him in as manager. And I'm sure they exhausted all their choices, but at least Rangnick for the first part, it sounds like he'll be the manager instead of Pioli, which should be unfortunate, especially if Milan gets to the Champions League spots, or not the Champions League, but Europa League. And Champions League is far stretched. No one's going to catch the top 4 there. But ultimately, I think, Pioli, no matter what, he's going to go. No matter how well he does. Maybe if he makes Champions League somehow, he'll keep his spot. That's not going to happen. So it is what it is. But it's unfair world. It's a business world, right?
Yeah, no, spot on, man. And moving up in the table, or top of the table, Juve. The team that just keeps winning, even though they're not. I mean, apart from the Coppa Italia, obviously, but since they've come back, they're still winning, but it's still not very convincing. The Sarri ball is just not, at the level that we expected to be at right now, and they're struggling through, but they're getting all these wins. And what do you make of them? Like, are they going to walk away with the title as always, or do you think there's actually some chance that Lazio or someone else could actually win the title this year?
I think if anyone's going to dethrone Juventus, it's going to be Lazio. I think Inter have too many mental gaps, and we saw that with the Sassuolo game. And it almost looked like the Parma match as well, but they righted themselves at the very end, which is good for them. But I don't think they're going to be able to catch the top 2. Lazio, though, they worried us too, right? They for a while they were struggling against Fiorentina, and they finally came back, albeit with a suspect penalty, but they got into it, and they got the win. And what have you learned from Juventus all these years that they won? It doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win. That's what champions do, and that's what Juventus does, is they They win. That's all they care about. They don't care about playing stylishly. Look at Allegri's teams. They never played fun, never played beautiful. It's about getting the result. Sarri's kind of adapted to that as opposed to them adapting to him. We kind of was all hoping to see, well, not all of us, but many people were hoping to see Sarri ball with Juventus to see what they could do. But it's obvious now that he's going to adapt to them, kind of like he adapted to Chelsea. And, they're always going to be the favorites. And I think, I don't think they're going to run away with it. I think Lazio's going to keep them till the end. But I don't know, man. Lazio need a lot of help. They have to beat Juventus when they play head-to-head, and they have to hope maybe Atalanta or somebody beats Juventus as well. And Lazio has to win on out. I mean, you guys maybe have a chance if you win on out and some things fall your way, but I don't know. I think it's Lazio's only hope at the moment to dethrone Juventus.
Yeah, I mean, you've touched on Inter. I've said from the beginning of the season that my prediction was third, so I'll be pretty happy to finish where we are. But
yeah,
our calendar is kind of on the way down, you could say. But in Serie A, there's never easy matches. We've seen when teams manage to, sit back deep and defend and counterattack. It's very hard to break them down, especially Inter. We've always had this problem. We thought that Eriksen could solve that problem, but against Parma and Sassuolo, he's been, he's gone a little bit missing there. And then we get counterattack so easily. This Inter team has always been so susceptible to counterattack. So I think you're right. I don't think we're going to be challenging for the title, but we've got Atalanta right behind our ass right now. They're playing some incredible football. Gasperini seems like, straight after the break, he's whatever they do in the back room, whatever training they do, it works. So those guys go at 100 miles an hour at all times. Yeah. What did you make of Atalanta?
They kept on doing. Atalanta's doing what Atalanta does, right? They just play entertaining football and score bunches of goals. And people thought the break would make them slow down maybe just a little bit, and they haven't. Maybe the play on the pitch looks a little bit slower. They're still scoring goals. They're banging in goals left and right. It's goals by committee. It's not just Zapata. It's not just Papu Gomez. It's everybody. Robin Gosens, Hateboer. I mean, everybody's scoring goals for this team, and they score for fun. They're one of the most entertaining teams and one of the best teams in Europe, not just Italy. And if I was anyone in the top four, be thankful that it's only a handful of games left to go and not half the season, because the way this team is playing now, they could go on a long, serious run, and they're gonna make every team a difficult matchup against them, either Inter or Lazio or Juve or whomever. Even we saw against Man City in the Champions League in the second time they played them, they can go head to head with anybody and they can score with anybody. I don't think there's a team in the world that can stop them from scoring. Honestly, they're fantastic to watch.
Yeah, they are, man. And do you see Luis Muriel's goals the other day?
Yeah, a wonderful brace by him, man. That guy he's perfect fit for them. Cornelius was a surplus to requirements for them. He went to Parma and he's doing well there. They just brought in Luis Muriel, and Atalanta had always been a selling club. Now that they're in Champions League, they got that money. They're starting to buy players. They bought Milanovsky recently. They got Luis Muriel. There's some other players they're bringing in as well. I mean, this team is starting to turn into one of the elite teams in the league, not just a short stint, if you will. They got this money. If they can consistently be in Champions League now, this is going to be 2 years in a row. Look to them to become one of the top, quote unquote, top six. And maybe you see Milan slide out of that or something, but fantastic the way you
I think you've already slidden out of that. No, I'm joking.
I'm grasping, man. I'm just
Nah, it's it'll be interesting to see. I think Inter needs to really watch out from Atalanta, not if we slip up any more points, because if we didn't win against Parma or if we lost against Parma, they would have been just 1 point behind us. So yeah, we need to keep the eyes on the ball, because it's not just above. The
and I said that to you before the last game. I said they're going to be overlooking Parma because they're looking too much at Atalanta, and Parma gave them a run.
Yeah, you did.
And that front three for Parma's playing really well. So yeah, Atalanta, be worried of them, everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're a very exciting team, and they also, they played better at the San Siro in the Champions League than Inter did. Like it was so funny because
that was the best performance in the San Siro that Milan or Inter have had in the last I don't know how many years. So maybe they should play there for more often. They beat us 5-0. I remember if it was in Bergamo or San Siro. But 5-0, they tore us apart.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was a Bergamo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I wasn't watching the game. I was just getting notifications on Twitter. I was like, whoa, another one, another one.
And Milan has to play them again. It'll be another 5-0 game probably.
Yeah, we have to play them in the second last. Oh no, I think that we got the last match of the season.
It is the last match. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, that's gonna be if we're like matching on points or close, it's gonna be a squeaky bum time.
Yeah.
But what about Lazio, man? Like, what do you think of Lazio? Because I've said from the beginning, I feel like they don't have the squad depth to compete with Juve, who have got like pretty much two teams to put out there.
Yeah.
You know, once Immobile gets injured or Caicedo or Correa gets injured, you know, they're in big trouble. If Linkovic-Savic gets injured, they're in trouble. Yeah. What do you make? Do you think they're going to bottle it?
I hope they don't. Honestly, just for entertainment purposes, I hope they push them to the end, like Napoli pushed Juve the last couple of years. I think you're right. Depth is a big thing with them. I think their attacking has a little bit more depth than the rest of their squad because they do have Caicedo, who I love Caicedo, by the way. They got him, Correa, Immobile, and so a little bit of depth there. But in the midfield, like you said, if Immobile or Luis Alberto go down, who do they have to really replace them? Those are big shoes to fill. And in defense, I mean, you know, if you lose a Cherby or you lose any of those guys back there, your team's going to struggle. You have no one to fill them with. And Sarkosha is doing okay. He's not the greatest keeper. He's solid. But yeah, they have to rely mainly on their top 11, top 13 players. And it's going to be hard because you're playing against a Juventus team who can roll out a B team who's just as good as their A team. So it's going to be difficult for them. They're going to have to win. They can't slip up anymore. That draw that they had or the loss to Atalanta hurt them big time. I think, you know, many people wanted to write them off after that, but Juventus still has to play Atalanta. They have to play Lazio, so anything can happen. But Lazio, it's going to come down to the wire, I hope. I think Inzaghi, the work he's done this year is manager of the year for me. I and many people picked Lazio to finish maybe outside the top 6. After last year, we thought last year was maybe just some luck. But Inzaghi's done a masterful job, I think, with what he has at his disposal. If he had more depth, I think he could be really pushing for a title. But we'll see.
So you would give manager of the year to Inzaghi over Gasperini?
Just slightly. It depends on how the race finishes. I think those are 1 and 2. Gasperini is obviously he was my manager of the year last year. Gasperini. He's obviously doing the same thing, if not better, this year. But I think if Inzaghi finds some way to get the title or something like that, gets really close to Juventus, he might just edge out Gasperini. We'll see what Gasperini does in Champions League too. I mean, if they go out and they go to semifinals, that's probably a no-brainer there. Yeah.
No, it was clear that Lazio didn't care about the Europa League. Like they just they pretty much gave up on that pretty early on.
Talk about bottling it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the wise move because, you know, as we said, they've got quite a short squad, so with those kind of commitments, it wouldn't have worked out. But now they've even got, you know, now they don't have those commitments, so it could work out in the end for them. But, you know, Juve don't have the Champions League commitments until when is the Champions League now? July?
No, I think it's August actually.
August.
Maybe it is July, but it's late. It's late. So.
Yeah. So even Juve as well, they're only going to focus on Serie A now.
Yeah.
They don't have that advantage anymore.
No.
I agree with most of your points there. But going from like the top of the table towards the bottom, we've got Spal, Brescia, and Lecce at the bottom 3. Do you think those are going to be the bottom 3 come the end of the season?
Yeah, you know, as much as I want to say Lecce, I love their kits. I love their home fans that they go to the game. Obviously, you can't have fans right now, but their home support is amazing for such a small club. But I think, you know, it's who do you pick, right? If Lecce is going to stay in, who leaves? One of the Genoa clubs, Genoa or Sampdoria, Udinese. I mean, those are historic Serie A clubs there. So, and based on play, Lecce at times with Mancosu and some of the guys, they play some fun ball, but I think Serie A needs Genoa and Sampdoria and Udinese more than they do Lecce, and I think Lecce will be ultimately the team that does suffer. I thought they were going to have a tough match against Milan. I thought they were going to put up a fight, but Milan just battered them, and we'll see how. I mean, they got battered the next game as well. So let's see, you know, how they go, but it doesn't look good for them at the moment. I think Genoa and Sampdoria will do just enough to stay out of it, and I think that the bottom 3 we see now is going to be the bottom 3, unfortunately for them. But hey, we have to see Benevento next year.
Oh yeah, Benevento. I've seen they're already making some interesting signing. I saw today they
Three
signed
signings, yeah.
Loic Remy, then they were linked with Fernando Llorente, Kamil
I didn't see
Glik, I
that one.
think, from Monaco as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, interesting.
yeah.
And yes, Inzaghi, obviously Pippo Inzaghi didn't do too well at AC Milan, but he's rebuilding his reputation now.
Yeah, he didn't do well at Bologna as well. I thought he had some good hope, high hopes there, I guess, at Bologna when he was there briefly. But yeah, let's see what he does with Benevento. They're doing things the right way, management-wise, and bringing in the players, like you said. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Benevento can do next year and what Inzaghi can do. Hopefully, improves upon his Milan and Bologna stints.
Yeah, but I agree. I think those bottom three, they're going to stay as they are right now. I think Ranieri with Sampdoria, he's going to find a way to just have enough for them. And Genoa, they have some still individual talent in there that just can drag him out. Like they've got Pandev and the likes of Sturaro and things like that. Well, not maybe like star players, but still, I think they'll manage to find some goals out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Lecce, especially Spal this year, I think Spal have been the poorest team this year. They just score goals and they don't really defend well either.
They struggled last year too, but at the end of the season they went on a run and it kind of escaped them from relegation. But this year, with Patania leaving, I don't even know if his heart's in it anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, man. That's pretty much all I had to discuss with you. Have you been enjoying watching Serie A back?
Oh, I've been loving it, especially with the first week with the first 5 games. Every day with a game, I should say. That was amazing. Having going two months with unsure if Calcio was going to come back this season at all, and then I've been watching so much Calcio lately. I pretty much watch, I would say 80% of the games that's been on so far. The only reason I haven't watched all of them is because some of them played on the same time, So it's been a real fun to watch, even if the level isn't just there as it was before. A little slower paced. It's great to be back. Honestly,
it's like a summer of football. I call it, because it's the Premier League is like that, and we were supposed to have the Euros at this time, and this is like the perfect replacement, I think.
Absolutely. We're gonna have a short break until the next season too, which is gonna be good but odd,
Yeah, I think the players deserve a little bit more rest, but
yeah, absolutely.
But thank you for joining me today, Richard. It was very, very nice to have you. Make sure to follow Richard on his accounts and stuff. I'll put it in the description below. Serie A Sitdown is definitely recommended. Listen to if you follow Serie A Calcio. Richard and your partner, is it Frank? Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they do a really good job. Are you guys friends in real life, or?
It's funny. We became friends, and probably too young for this, but MySpace back in the day.
Oh,
we were like we were in a Milan like a Milan group or whatever. So we became friends there. Funny enough, we've known each other for like 15 years at least or something, but we've never met. We've never met in person. But we've talked to each other a long time, and that we kind of when we're in I think one of the Facebook groups or whatever for Calcio, we said we're starting up a podcast. We're like, hey, let's do it together. Like, okay, why not? So it kind of flourished from there. I don't know how many years ago. This is our end of our 4th season now, or 4th season. So it's been a while.
Nice. Yeah, I can tell that you have that kind of chemistry, because that's what I was asking if you're friends in real life, because it feels like you know each other quite well.
Yeah. We're fairly close. The only thing we've never met. It's funny how that works. So.
But definitely recommend you guys to give that a listen, and make sure to like and subscribe to my channel as always. Leave a comment below on who do you think is going to win the Scudetto, who's going to be the relegation battlers, and all the things that we discussed here. And I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.